Hello everyone, this is my very first video and we talk about the science behind magic tricks. Probably some of you are already familiar with how certain magic tricks work, but have you ever wondered why they work? In this video, you will be introduced to the cognitive functions of the human brain that magicians exploit in order to trick your mind. Let's briefly dive into it. There are some icons on your screen. Try to memorize as much as you can. Ready? Now try to recall them. I bet you cannot recall more than 9, right? This is because the average human mind can typically retain 7 plus or minus 2 items in short-term memory, and this retention lasts only for about 30 seconds, although there are strategies such as chunking that can potentially increase this limit. So, because of our short-term memory capacity, we cannot retain many elements in a working memory, we cannot focus on multiple stuff at the same time, and consequently, we cannot process many things at once. Due to this fact, magicians enhance sensory input in your brain by introducing distracting stimuli which serve as masking elements alongside the targeting components of the trick. The masking elements direct your attention, overload your working memory, and thus you don't have other cognitive resources to consciously process other things, that is, the key elements of the magic tricks. The result is that you actually miss the trick. Now let's move on to another example. Try to memorize again as many words as you can. Try to recall them. Even more difficult, right? This is because these words means nothing to you. You have no long-term memory database to relate these words to. This means that your short-term memory capacity is proportionally reduced when you are exposed to a greater amount of unfamiliar information. So, how is this related to magic tricks? Let's connect and review the pieces. When information we are exposed to surpasses our working memory capacity in terms of complexity, quantity, or speed, our cognitive load, or in other words, our mental effort is increased. As a result, our minds tend to rely on familiar or previously learned information as it requires less mental effort to process. But familiarity is not always a useful strategy in problem-solving conditions. Let's give an example here. When you are engaged in a magic performance, you're under time pressure. In situations demanding quick reactions, the brain relies on a strategy known as heuristics, cognitive schemata, or scripts. These mental shortcuts are activated from the long-term memory to facilitate rapid responses. Think of them as reflexes of the mind. In our case, the magician uses various materials to perform tricks. Your brain has already associated these materials with their typical functions, the scripts, and thus it activates them. However, the problem is that these scripts have no application here. They are irrelevant as the magician uses the materials in an unconventional manner, deviating from their expected use. The result? You can't think innovatively or creatively because of the mind scripts. And again, you miss the trick. Look at this pattern. Our visual perception automatically groups items that are in close proximity. This is one of the principles of laws of Gestalt. Laws of Gestalt are generally considered inherent principles guiding how our visual system organizes visual information. Nevertheless, cultural and learned influences also significantly shape our perception. When exposed to stimuli based on these principles, our perceptual system actively seeks these patterns and anticipates specific outcomes. However, magicians capitalize on our tendency to mentally complete expected actions before they occur. For example, they present you a visual pattern, your brain filters this pattern based on these perceptual laws, and for this reason you see what you expect and not what it actually occurs. Briefly, the actual pattern often differs from our anticipated perception, leading to surprise. Let's proceed to the next mind game that magicians play on you. Magicians often utilize subliminal cues to expose your mind to particular ideas, concepts, or stimuli. For those unfamiliar with the term, subliminal cues are stimuli that bypass our conscious awareness but can still be perceived on a subconscious level. When a magician asks you to decide, choose, think, or produce something quickly, this subconscious cues activate specific mental representations in your mind. Therefore, this activated representation can subtly influence your thoughts and behaviors throughout the magic performance, impacting how you perceive and react to the magic tricks. This means that they are priming, or in other words, mentally training you during the performance so that you respond the way they want when the right moment comes. In simple terms, quite often, the choices you make during a magic show aren't actually your own. This creates the impression that the magician predicted or figured out your response. Optical illusions are visual stimuli that deceive our perceptual system, causing us to perceive qualities that differ from objective reality. One popular category of optical illusions involve visual stimuli with ambiguous or contradictory interpretations. Due to this conflicted information, our visual system fluctuates between two possible visions as our brain attempts to interpret the visual input. Take the Necker cube, for instance, which can be perceived in two different 3D orientations. Its lines offer conflicted visual cues about depth and orientation. Each viewer can perceive either version with conscious effort or automatically. Try to imagine that the symbol X is inside the cube. This is one version. Now, imagine the symbol X outside the cube. That's the other version. Therefore, magicians employ techniques to manipulate which version is perceived at different stages, surprising the audience by contradicting their initial impression. Magicians employ what is known in psychology as methodological pluralism. That is, they use multiple strategies for performing the same trick. By combining and utilizing these diverse methodologies in its show, it becomes very challenging for the audience to decode the secrets behind the tricks. Wish you all the best. See you in the next video.